Take me home tonight. Listen, honey, just like Ronnie said. Just like Ronnie said.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of the unofficial official podcast from Straight No Chaser, episode number 37, I believe. 37. As always, I am Mike here with Segi and Tyler. How are you guys doing today? What's going on?
What's up? Doing good.
Doing great. Tyler, so you have a new accessory that you're
I
wearing.
do. This is my new accessory. It is, I believe it's called a Lily baby carrier. And if you're guessing, there is a baby.
Oh, there is something in it.
There is a
Okay.
baby in there.
Oh.
I'm not just wearing it
I
to,
was wondering.
to market. No, Mr. Zachary is joining us today, so it's his first podcast. So welcome, Zach.
Wow, he's already doing better than Jasper. It's great.
I know, and he's,
Great.
he's already so bored he's asleep.
Yeah. Now, is that
Welcome,
your
Zach.
baby, or did it come with the thing you're wearing?
No, this one is my baby. Sometimes they do
Okay.
come with babies,
It's
but
like a
this
picture
one,
frame, right?
I'm
Like it
pretty
comes with a picture in it.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's my baby. He woke up in my house this morning, so
Could have broke in. It's been
yeah, he
happening a
could
lot
have.
down there in Tulsa.
Yeah, we don't have
Hearing about it.
all those break-ins. You got to watch out.
On the mean streets of Tulsa.
Mean
Now, are you
streets.
bringing him on tour?
The baby?
Yeah.
No,
No?
I am not.
Okay.
He will be staying at home with mom.
He's so
That
lazy.
would be that would be very challenging on a bus with everything.
Now, question for you. Just want to know if this is like hereditary or not. But
Uh,
when he is drinking his milk,
Yes.
is he also watching something on his iPad and playing a game on his phone and have a game on the TV all at the same time?
Yeah, he's not maybe hasn't worked up to all those things yet, but he definitely does two things at once.
That's good.
Drinking milk and watching something else.
Cool. That's great. Welcome, Z-Dub, to the podcast, making his debut. The top of
Zachary,
his head
it's
sometimes.
nice to see you.
He's sleeping.
We can see him.
He's sleeping.
He's a new addition to the SNC family, right? Now I
Yeah.
think, shoot, I mean, how many kids are there now? I think everybody has at least
Everyone's got two.
one. Oh, yeah, that's
Well-
true. Everyone is at
Well,
least.
then we'll about to have two.
Yes.
So that'll be 16 kids. Luke Bob obviously does not, nor should he yet. That wasn't like he should never have kids. He should at some point, but not yet.
He wants to.
He's young. He's
Not
young.
yet. Yeah, 16 kids, man.
Quite a lot.
15 and 3/4 right now. Because one of
Yeah.
them's
Three-quarters.
still in the oven.
Still cooking.
I wonder how many it'll be like when it's all said and done.
I would say the majority of us are done.
Yeah.
You know, Freedom maybe having more. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And then Luke Bob. I think the rest of us are, because we're the younger. I guess Jasper could also, because he's
Could.
younger.
Yeah.
But I think they're done. They got one of each. But
So right now it's how many? 16, you said?
it's 15 and 3. It'll be 16.
It'll
in
be
in
16.
a month or so.
I think
Yeah,
I
so-
would set the total at 16 and a half.
Wow.
You don't think Luke Bob will have kids?
No, it's not that.
Okay, I'm going to take the over. I would have set the over
Yeah.
under on 17 and a half
17 and a half.
because I could
So
see
it-
Luke Bob being a one kid guy
So at least one more,
after Freedom and Camille have
but maybe not
their
two.
second.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Interesting.
speaking of babies coming into the world,
Oh.
we're about to experience something like that into the podcast. Now, it's not a baby, but
Okay.
it is a very special guest. Now, this guy is a friend of the group. He has opened some of our shows before. He was kind enough to be our audience warm-up guy for our PBS special. And he's just overall one of the best dudes I know. He's hilarious. And yeah, without further ado, please welcome to the podcast, Mr. Josh Sneed.
Yeah. There he is.
There he is.
There he is.
He's figuring it out.
in the
Gentlemen.
Oh, look at that
man.
setup.
Hey,
Hello.
Look at that
hey
setup.
Josh.
How's it
Wow.
going, boys?
Nice to see you,
Good,
man. Thanks for
man. How
joining
are
us
you?
today.
Oh, it's so great. Everything's good. We didn't have a tough loss last night to the Dodgers. Everything's fine. Everything's gonna be fine.
Tawny, man, 2 bombs, huh?
First
Jeez.
first batter of the game.
Yeah, it's tough. That
Y-
lineup is it's brutal. It's like watching the when I was watching the Yankees game, I was like, man, you get through one guy, then you got to go through the it's like just murderer's row.
I know. But hey, congratulations on your team winning their first game yesterday.
Thank you. I mean, we had Scooble going. After that, you never know what you're going to get. Scooble's, almost a guarantee, at least on the giving up runs side, but we'll see.
Now, Tyler and Michael, like you guys, what are your teams besides Indiana, obviously? What do you have professional teams that you root for?
Other than the Indiana teams like the Colts and the Pacers, not really. But after this, maybe I'm a Reds fan. You know,
There's
I
plenty
don't.
of room. There's plenty of
I
room
mean,
for you.
I grew up a Twins fan, and I would say that for the last, several years, I haven't been the biggest baseball guy. But yeah, I grew up a Twins fan. I'll cheer for them every once in a while. But yeah, growing up in Iowa, we didn't have any teams, so Twins, and then I like that the Cowboys. And then now that I'm here in Oklahoma, I'm a kind of an adopted Thunder fan, so that's kind of fun.
Yeah. I've always wondered what that would be like to either grow up in a town that you didn't have a team. Like most of my friends that like baseball that didn't have a team, they're either Cubs or Braves fans
Braves,
because those were the only teams on national TV.
mm,
WGN and TBS.
Yeah.
Now, Josh,
yeah,
how you
that's a
doing,
big
bud?
driver for it.
Have you listened to the podcast before, Josh?
I've seen clips of the podcast before.
Okay. Okay. So you know the format. It's all just offensive jokes
Yep.
for about
Got a whole list of
six
them right here.
hours. Yeah. So we each get a group of people that we are assigned to make fun of. So yours, I'm just kidding.
Gee,
Can you imagine? Oh my gosh.
Oh man, going on an acapella podcast is what gets you canceled, ruins your career. I mean, that's a movie, right? We should write that. That's nobody would watch it, but we should write it anyway. So, Josh, you are a comedian,
Yes.
you are an entrepreneur, you
Yes.
are a music fan. I saw you just recently saw Benson Boone instead of texting me
Mm,
back while you were in Vegas. How was that show?
Man, that dude is the real deal.
right.
Just in awe of the production is incredible, but just like that guy singing like that for 2 hours, flipping, you know, I don't know. And they're doing like 140 shows. A buddy of mine is like the audio tech for him and kind of set everything up for me. And he was just telling me what their schedules. I mean, you just have to tip your hat to the guy because he is riding the wave.
That's a lot of
So,
shows. That's a lot of shows.
what is the time period he's doing it in? 2 years?
I don't think so. I think it's 140 this year, this calendar year. They were in Phoenix on Wednesday. They had an off day Thursday. They were in Vegas Friday, San Diego Saturday, and then somewhere else in California on Sunday.
So, is there a situation? So, a lot of these, like the major arena acts, have two sets, right? So, when they're in Vegas setting up the show, there's another set of semi trucks that are heading to San Diego to make sure that set's done so that when he leaves, he could just go to San Diego, do the show. And then that Vegas set goes to the place after San Diego. So, it's always like moving ahead of itself. Do you know if that's the case for them?
I didn't think it was just the way that my buddy talked about, that the guys would be tearing down till 4 a.m. or something and then get a couple hours of sleep on the way to the next thing, start setting up again. He's like talking about people getting, 5, 6 hours of sleep. But I don't know for a fact. He didn't say that there were constantly two sets. He said it was like 24 semis.
Jeez. Or you
That's
could
insane.
come work with S&C and get a full night's sleep. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not that taxing.
Hey,
Now,
I'm in.
is there anything you saw in his show that you would suggest to us to incorporate into our show?
I'd love to see you guys do some more acrobatic,
Hmm.
Okay.
hanging from a chandelier that's lower down from the ceiling. I always enjoy the use of hidden compartments. He had this like
Mm.
crazy stage where the band stayed most of the time, and then a giant, TV screen behind him, and then a walkway that went almost the entire length of the floor of the arena to a smaller stage. And when they weren't using that, they would push the piano and it would drop down. I'd love to see you guys have some like trapdoor type things, where all of a sudden Jerome pops out and he's in the balcony and no one saw it coming, and you get that real
Hmm.
like surround sound effect from you guys.
Seems like a lot of insurance costs.
I was gonna say the budget that we have, I don't know if that would be very safe.
Or just keep doing what you're doing. I mean, you know that I love you guys. Like I legitimately love you guys and I consider you guys friends, but I was a fan first and you guys don't even need microphones and it
Mm.
sounds incredible. Like it's
Yeah,
insane the
take
talent
that,
that you
take
guys
that,
have.
Benson Boone.
Everybody has to be quiet, which is a thing that probably wouldn't happen in a Benson Boone show because of the 15,000 people there. I think 12 to 13 knew every word to every song. It sounded like a
Mm.
K-pop Demon Hunters sing along in the movie theater, but it was impressive. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Now,
Yeah,
how did you
he's
come across? Sorry, go ahead, Mike.
no, please.
I was going to ask how you came across us.
Oh, I remember it like it was yesterday. I saw you guys like on TV maybe 3 times in 4 days. I want to say it was 2008, maybe the year that I met my wife, and it was our first kind of Christmas season together. And I think you guys were you were definitely at the DC Christmas thing, right? The
Yep.
church. And I think maybe a late night program and then also the Today Show, like within the span of a week or two.
So, would you say that helped kind of solidify your relationship with Jenny? Like
Yeah,
in the beginning, like give you that
thousand
something,
percent. It was
something.
that Christmas season and the music that we shared
You're welcome.
that really laid the
There you go.
groundwork.
There you go.
But it
Uh,
was one of the first concerts we went to. I mean, I think that first year we dated, we saw Sarah Bareilles, Coldplay, and Straight No Chaser. Those were the 3 concerts we went to when we first started dating.
Wow,
We drove to
those are
Louisville to see you
two
guys.
two great shows. Us and Sarah B.
right.
So then, how did we meet? We met in Columbia, Missouri, right?
That's the first time we met in person.
That's random.
So I started following you guys on Twitter after I saw you, and I noticed that you, Sagi, were posting a lot about the stand-up you were going to watch. I don't remember. I think you were in Vegas at the time. I
Either
don't know
there
if you
or
were in
L.A.
Vegas or LA, but you were seeing a lot of stand-up, and I reached out and I basically said, love what you do. Looks like you love stand up. If you'd like to hear my album, I'd be happy to send you one. And I'll never forget your reply. You go, I will support and I will buy it. I offered to send you a stranger a free copy and you said, "No, I'm gonna pay for it."
What
Like
a
Segi.
guy.
Well,
Sounds like Segi. He always does that.
I think it's important, especially as an artist,
Absolutely.
to support other artists because, Josh knows what it's like when you go to a town and you've got friends. It's all, hey, what about some comps for me and 12 of my friends? And it's okay, yeah, but for you, Josh, it's a little different. You're one guy, right? So if you're comping stuff, that only impacts you. But we're 9 dudes, and when you got 9 guys comping a bunch of seats, now that impacts 9 different people's bottom line. And that's where I'm like, okay, let's kind of get a hold on this so I'm not taking money out of Mike's pocket, out of Tyler's pocket. If it was just me, it's one thing.
Is this
Mm.
podcast an intervention to tell me I can't get free tickets when you come to Cincinnati
Oh
anymore?
no, you've got free tickets for life, man. You've
I'm
helped us
just
out
kidding.
so many times. You've done some time on stage before our shows. You helped get the crowd going for our PBS special. You know, I'd love your input on this as a comedian. People have always asked, if you guys could have openers, what would that look like? And we've had some in the past, different bands, vocal trios, T3. And one that always kind of felt like a natural fit would be a comedian, someone similar to you that works clean, that would, respect our audience. But then on the flip side, the 9 of us like to think that we're funny and like to think that our show has humor. So in my brain, I'm like, all right, Josh is doing 15 minutes before our show of real comedy, they're not going to find our comedy in quotes funny. It's going to, they'll have something directly to compare it to, and it'll immediately water us down. And it's kind of the same idea of having this huge band with a giant sound go on before us. And then we come out and we're just like, hey, we have no guitars or drums. Sorry. Like, what are your thoughts on that situation?
I think you're selling your humor short.
I was gonna say the same thing.
Your
Sorry,
guy,
not mine, the other guys. The other
no, I'm serious. I am 28 years into a career of stand-up comedy, and I can be a bit jaded at times over what makes me laugh. And I always laugh at you guys. And it's not because I'm friends with you, it's because it's like really funny and well thought out, and you have good timing and you understand comedy. And
well,
I think that you have enough time on stage that you're going to showcase why people are there in the first place. And then if you're only focused on the laughter, that's not what's drawing people to you, period. It's just like a
Mhm.
bonus for you. To
appreciate
follow
that.
Gaffigan on Sunday night, he came and did a guest set in Vegas and he did 15 minutes. The audience didn't
Wow.
know he was going to be there.
Oh, cool.
And I could either say sorry, that's all you get, and now you got to deal with me for 40, or go out there and do my thing, and it went fine.
Thank you for that. I do want to point out, though, keyword, you said you laughed at
At
us. So a little different,
Hey,
but
we'll take anything. At us, with us, for
100%.
us.
Is it
Let's,
with you though? You guys aren't laughing.
we
Well,
are.
certainly.
we've heard the joke 65 times, so
Yeah.
we're, you know.
Um,
The reading of The Night Before Christmas is
Mhm.
seriously one of the funniest like intros to a concert I've ever been to.
Yeah, with John Michael Higgins.
Yes.
Yeah, he
he's
was
so good.
phenomenal. Oh my gosh, that was so good.
We've
And
gotten pretty lucky getting, we got him, we got Jane Lynch. We may have
mm,
another surprise for this fall, kind of a big one. So if it pans out, awesome. If not, nobody really knew about it. I'll tell you off the pod.
Okay.
But yeah, that was incredible. I mean, the dude is just such a pro.
yeah. And I
I
think we
love it.
actually use that more than once too. So it was like the one year we did it, and then I think maybe 2 years ago, I think we used it again.
It's great. I mean,
So we got a
I
lot
don't
of
know what the
mileage out of
rights
it.
are to it, but you
Yeah,
should use that every chance you
I know.
get.
I know for sure. I do want to say, though, earlier this year, Steve and I, along with Jamie and Emily, came to see you at the Taft. You were opening for Jim Gaffigan. And what'd you do, about 25
20
minutes or so?
minutes.
20
Yeah,
minutes.
15 to 20, yeah.
I will say, and Jim, I know you're watching and listening. This is not a slight on you at all, but your reception from that audience and the laughter and the applause that you got throughout your set and at the end of your set was toe to toe with his. I mean, you talk about audiences that are made for each other, your audience and Jim's
Mhm.
audience, similar type of humor, clean. Yeah, man, you're right there with him toe to toe, if not even a little surpassing him. But yeah, dude, don't be like, oh, I had to go after Gaffigan, because when you went before him, you were right there, dude.
Well,
Crush.
I appreciate that, and I will defend him. I mean, there's a couple things at play. One, no one's expecting the opener to be funny, right? So if you're funny as an opener, it's a bonus. They are primed and ready. It is a night out for them. It's my hometown. I could not have been set up better to succeed in that moment. I'm happy that it went that well, but you're also talking about a guy who has to now go up. I cherry picked 20 minutes, and now he has to go do an hour, and it's probably his 19th or 20th hour. Like, it's
Interesting.
easier to do what I did, but I do appreciate the compliment. Like,
Yeah,
it's,
no, I get that. I mean, his longevity has been super impressive. It's can't imagine how hard it is to stay relevant and stay funny
I mean, that was one
over
of
decades.
6 sold out shows in that building in 4 days.
It's wild. That's wild. Okay, so back to you in comedy. Right now, you've got a new special out. It's called Fat Ryan. And for those of you listening, 100% go to Amazon right now, buy the special. I think it's $10. It'll be the best $10 you could spend. You will love it's all super relatable. Again, it's clean comedy, so you can watch it with your family and not worry about, anything slipping through the cracks. It's so funny, dude. It's so good. I played it for the guys on the bus. You were kind enough to send me a copy before it came out, and I watched it. I watched it on my flight over to Asia, and I was just like keeping people up around me laughing in my seat. What is the process like now? So you worked out that hour, you put out the special. Now what does that process look like? There's different comics have different kind of strategies with once the special's out, they consider that material burned and now they're
Mhm.
back in the clubs working out the next hour. What is your path like kind of looking like after the special dropped?
Well, because of all the little side hustles, I don't have the time probably to put in writing every single day like some of my peers. I'm always jealous of the guys who record an hour, they're done with that hour, let's write the next one. Mine has almost always been like an evolving hour.
Hmm.
So I have premises that I've, been kind of working on. And then if it's a 5 minute chunk, I'll flush it out on the road this week. Like I'm in Des Moines this Friday and Saturday, and I'll put probably 5 to 10 minutes right in the middle that I'm working out. And when I feel like I have it in a good spot, I'll move it to a different part of the act and work on the next 5 to 10. And then I'll
Hmm.
keep doing that until eventually all the stuff from the last special is out and I've got a new hour. And that's when I start to think about recording the next thing. But I'm just jealous of the guys who just go sit down and write and just crank out an hour. A lot of them have writers, which
Hmm.
is super convenient if you can afford that. But I learned that if I tried to sit down and force myself to write, it never works out as well as if it just kind of something comes to me organically and I go, I think there's something there, and then I try to work it out on stage. If I used to write it out word for word, and I felt like when I did that material, it was very monologue-y and like I was reading
Hmm.
lines, like reading a script. But if I just had an idea of what I wanted to talk about and then I talked about it on stage, it forced me to speak on stage the way that I talk off stage, and it feels more conversational than rehearsed. And I think that's what I feel like is one of my strengths is that people kind of forget they're at a comedy show. I'm just up there talking, and that's what I want in being up there for an hour.
And are you recording every set so you can go back and listen and be like, oh, I added this new part. I can,
Nope.
so I don't forget. Okay.
I should be, but I'm not. I just,
Let it go after it's out. Just let it go.
yeah, it's so new. I mean, the special just came out in July, and so I'm still doing a lot of it, and it just, I don't have the discipline or probably the time to just go back and watch every single set. But that's why you see somebody like Jim Gaffigan. I got to really see his process over that week in Cincinnati, and he would show up 2 hours early or 4 hours early to the club or to the venue. He would watch his entire set from the night before, and then he would write out his entire set for that night and study it up until he was studying it as he was being introduced. I would walk off stage and he's at the podium, like looking through his notes every day. That's crazy. But,
Wow.
you know,
That's, what it takes to be at his level for
that's
so
right.
long, right? So he's, you know, continuously doing his 10,000 hours.
Yeah. It's very inspiring to watch. And if I could get one of the irons I have in the fire to get hot enough, I could focus on that iron.
But you
Yeah.
mentioned your side hustles, which I don't know if I'd call them side hustles because for most people they'd be, full-time careers, but you just keep stacking all these things on top of each other. It's a miracle that you don't burn out. Now you've got your Cincy Shirts company, and within that you've got, several brands right under the shirt company. And then you've also got the Field House, which is a new endeavor that you've taken over. So talk about that a little bit. We have a lot of fans in the heartland, right in the middle of the country
Yeah.
that, could check this out and
Yeah.
use the spots.
A little backstory was when I first started doing stand up, I would meet these headliners who'd been at it for 30 plus years, and they hated doing comedy because it took away all the personal relationships they blamed comedy for them living out of a suitcase, and it was the only thing that they ever knew, and they never took time to watch their kids grow up or focus on their marriage. And I learned that at a very early age in comedy, that I didn't want to ever get to a point where I resented comedy because I felt like it took things from me that I couldn't get back. And I lost my dad. And so those two things were the genesis of why I wanted to have something else other than comedy, so that if I got to the point where I did have a family, I wouldn't have to be gone all the time if I didn't want to be. And also, if I was still doing comedy, it was because I loved it and not because I had to, and it was the only thing I knew. So that's how the t-shirt company started 20 years ago with a buddy of mine. It was like one of those things that it didn't have to be successful right then. I just wanted it to maybe grow in its own time, and then hopefully one day it could be, provide some income to that I didn't have to be gone every week. And so that's luckily what's happened with that. And like you said, we have our Cincy Shirts brand is our local brand. We have two brick and mortar stores here in Cincinnati, but then we have Old School Shirts, which is like vintage stuff from almost every city in the country. So wherever you're from, you can go to Old School Shirts and click on your city and see a lot of the old businesses and brands and personalities or amusement park rides that you probably remember when you were a kid that aren't around anymore. I tapped into Segi's
Wow. I'm doing that right
knowledge
now.
for the Detroit section on the site. And then we started in the clutch.com, which is like sports stuff. We got a Major League Baseball Players Association license, so we can do shirts for any Major League Baseball player. So that's been fun. We got into
Wow.
Dick's Sporting Goods this year. And yeah, it's weird that something that used to run out of my buddy's apartment is like a real company now.
It's amazing,
Uh,
man. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That
Thank you.
is
It's cool.
awesome.
It is cool. And it scratches a different itch of the creative part of my brain than doing stand up. And my wife started her own t-shirt brand a couple years ago that's all holiday driven called Dressing Festive. And it's fun. It's fun to have built this kind of machine that, can generate income for us, but we also partner with a lot of charities. We've raised over $1 million for different charities by
Wow.
giving portions of a shirt back to the charity that it's supposed to help. That stuff's really cool, especially when it's, helping places in my hometown, which I'm obviously very passionate about, like you guys are.
I'm
And
looking
then
at all the Indiana shirts, man. You
there's a
got a
bunch.
lot on here, man. This is awesome.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Great.
And a
Yeah.
lot of them did come from comedian friends of mine or
Okay.
friends I had in other cities where I'm like,
So
I don't
cool.
know what the local grocery store was,
Right.
in the 80s or whatever. And they were very helpful to give us those ideas. And it's fun. It's fun sending people down a rabbit hole when they can go, oh my gosh, I used to
Right.
go to that record store or that toy store or whatever. Yeah. And then for about 10 or 11 years, I did social media for Airheads Candy and Mentos. It was just kind of a thing I did from wherever I was, and no one knew it was me if they were talking to those brands, but it was a good source of income that, allowed me to take summers off when the kids are out of school and, that kind of thing. And that went away last in March of 24, and I felt like it was either back on the road, for a lot of the time or find something else. And my son's in the baseball phase. He's 14, and the place that we were going to, like a batting cage kind of place, it was pretty run down, but the guy who owned it was trying to get out of the business, so I got a team together and we took over the lease and dumped a bunch of money into rehabbing this place, and now we got this awesome 20,000 square foot indoor baseball sports facility that is baseball centric during the winter months when it's too cold to be outside. But we're doing other things in there that are a lot of fun. We've had baseball card shows, had a comedy show, and then starting actually tomorrow night for the month of October, Thursday through Sunday, it'll be a haunted house.
Oh,
So
sick.
it's just fun. It's just another
Yeah, man.
something I didn't need
Fun.
to take on, but I really love it. And I think that eventually it could be its own big thing. I've got some cool partners and, relationships with the Reds, and, you know, watching my kid play baseball is like the most fun.
Nice. What is it like to have cool partners?
I always
I
wonder.
mean, do you guys answer those kind of questions? Do you talk about that stuff on here?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, you guys are
of course.
every
we're
time
real.
I've been around, you guys are best friends, you know what I mean? But I know that on the road sharing tour bus and stuff, like how do you make sure you keep the friendship alive? Because you guys you can't obviously see any tension on stage, but if it arises, like how do you preserve it for the betterment of the group and also not to lose these relationships you've had forever?
I mean, I'll just say that
Not
I
everybody
think
at once.
Yeah.
no,
Well,
I mean,
I've been talking a lot, so let
I'll
someone
just
else
say
talk.
that I mean, not to what I can say is I think this group of 9 guys is probably the closest we've ever been, just because of, A, the guys that are in there, and B, just we've been doing this for a while now, so we kind of got it to a into a I don't want to say routine, but we're all in there for the same goal where we all want to make this group the best that it can be, and everybody's got a great attitude and wants this thing just to be the best that it can be. So for the past several years, we've just had a great group of guys, and it's been just real positive. I mean, obviously there's stuff that happens along the way, but it's pretty minor bumps along the road, you know what I mean? Nothing that's, you know, been never that deep, right? I mean, we're all, like I said, we're all in it to win it. So it's been really good.
That's cool. Yeah, because I guess probably by now, for as long as you've been doing it, when you do bring a new person in, you probably are able to say, this works, this doesn't work, so they know what's expected of them when they sign on.
Yeah, and I think also to add on to what Tyler was saying, we all understand that we need each other, right? We all need to be bought in on what's happening. I've said this a million times, like we all have the same goal. We might have different ideas of how to achieve it and how to get there, but ultimately we all have the same goal. Like any of the tension that ever happens is all just really silly. Oh, well, I think this song should go here instead of this song, or maybe this guy should sing. It's all stuff that doesn't matter in real life. You know what I mean? So once we step on stage, you're not carrying that tension because it doesn't matter. Like it's the audience doesn't care about the order of songs or who's singing what. They just want to be entertained, right? They want to see us having a good time so they feel like they have the right to also have a good time with us. You know what I mean? So I think once we all step on stage, it's, oh, yeah, this is what it's all for. Right. So
Yeah.
and I think it helps that I think it'd be different if the group tried to set out to be what it is now from the jump. Like those original guys, when they graduated college, had they stayed a group and said, hey, we're going to take Straight No Chaser with us and we're going to make it, and they had to go through the grueling road of being a startup band and all that stuff. I think had that been the case, I don't see the group surviving with this many people. But because that wasn't the case and we were all in the real world and just plucked from obscurity and handed this golden ticket, it kind of took a lot of that early stress that kind of comes out later in a band's career, like all completely gone because now we didn't have to go through all those growing pains. If you're just a band that's in a garage trying to make it, trying to gig, trying to do all this stuff, that road is insanely tough and grueling. And it's like becoming a professional athlete or a stand-up comedian that can earn a living doing it. It's virtually impossible, right? So the ones that get there have gone through all that mud, but we just were like handed TSA pre-check clear pass, and they're like, okay, here's your
Yeah.
plane.
Yeah.
So I think that allowed us to kind of avoid any of those foundational issues that would rear their heads out later and deteriorate the band from the inside.
Nice.
I
We're all old dads now, you know what I mean? It's like nothing
yeah.
nothing really matters other than let's make sure we're taking care of the band. taking care of the brand, and making sure that we can feed and support our families. Sorry, what were you going to say, Mike?
I mean, I don't know. In a way, you made it sound like it was also easy, and I mean,
No, not
I,
easy. Easier, not easy.
I get what
yeah, I don't
Segi's
know.
saying, that you guys kind of, the first gigs you had when this thing really took off was in theaters, right? Like
No,
you, no?
No,
no.
no,
Not
there were clubs.
initially, yeah.
It was a
Like,
So there
mix,
was
but
a grind, there was a growth, there was a period of, is this going to work or not?
yeah, but we were put on the national stage right away
Sure.
with
Yeah.
TV and all these opportunities that, you know, created the brand
Right.
out of nothing. Yeah, I just no, I just want to clarify for anyone listening. Like it was hard for sure. There was a time where, the bus drivers and everyone in the crew was bringing home a lot more money than we were, right? After a tour. And it was like, "Oh, no.
Yeah.
We can't do that.
Good work.
We need to have
Yeah.
this is not going to work. There's not but that's even so much further past where everyone
Yeah,
else
it's
was because
true.
we had already quit our jobs. So
Yeah. So, yeah. So
if
we
you're
were
a
all in
struggling
for sure.
band, like you're still working. It's like a starting comedian is not quitting his or her job before making it, right? You got to be at a certain place until you can really make that jump and that investment.
are you guys at the
Yeah.
age now where the younger artists want to chew your ear about how they can get to where you are?
I don't know if any of us have experienced that.
There is a Straight No Chaser group. Is there one at IU right now? Does it still
Yeah.
exist at the
There's still
university?
Called
still
another
stu
round.
yeah, they still do their thing at Indiana, so they're still a student run group, all students, and they, like when we were in college, they audition guys every year and, do the big campus events and shows around Indiana. But yeah, we every time we're in Bloomington, we try to see them and say what's up and kind of see how they're doing and, try to help them out in any way that we can because we know that's kind of where we started and we want to support them the best way that we can.
That's awesome.
To kind of touch on what you were just asking, Josh, I feel like with us, people don't really understand like what bucket to put us in. I feel like they put us in the two extremes. So some people think we're like the 1% of 1% of entertainers and we're making hundreds of millions of dollars and, going nuts. And then on the other end, there's people that are like, oh, can you come do my daughter's birthday party? And it's, oh, do you guys do weddings? Like, they don't really understand what like I'm sure like someone has said to you along the way, oh, I really like your skits or like stuff like that, right? They don't really know what it is, and it's hard to talk to them about it without coming off as, I don't know, arrogant or,
Yeah.
oh no, we play the Fox Theater. We're not going to sing at a birthday
Yeah.
party.
I remember
Um,
when we
I
moved
mean, how
into
much
our
you offering?
house, the first house Jenny and I bought together, we lived in this cul-de-sac. And I remember the day we moved in, like all the neighbors in the cul-de-sac kind of came out to introduce themselves. And there was this one guy who, he's, so what do you do? And I was like, I'm a stand-up comedian. And he goes, you can make a living doing that? That's how he said it. And then I said, I bought a house on your street. And
That's a great
everybody else
response.
laughed. And I could tell he was kind of like, oh, okay, I get, you know what I mean?
yeah,
That's
But
a
yeah,
you're
great
yeah.
right.
response.
People think that if they haven't heard of you, then you can't be any good. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I tell this story all the time, but Chappelle talked about this on Inside the Actors Studio. They asked him what his parents thought when he told him he wanted to be a comedian. And he said they thought I was going through a phase. And they said, will you give it up if you're not successful? And he said, well, it depends on what your definition of success is, because they were college professors. And he said, if you make $40,000 a year being a teacher and I can make $40,000 a year being a comedian, I'd rather be a comic than a teacher. And when I heard him say that, it changed everything for me because I felt like what you just said. When you start out doing stand up and you're an open micer, all you think about is the end goal of being a movie star or having your own sitcom. And you don't really realize back then that there's a real sweet spot there in the middle where you can make a great living in relative anonymity, just doing what you love and, have a great life doing it. And if you can look at that as being successful, then that's where I feel like you find the sweet spot of being content in life and not constantly worrying about what so and so has that you don't.
100%. I mean, and for Chappelle to have that conversation, he started when he was 14. For him to have that kind of philosophical mind at 14 is wild.
Yeah.
I can't like I didn't know what I wanted to be when I was. I mean, I knew I loved music, and I, you know, always dreamed of being a musician in some way, shape, or form. But I don't know that I was that bought in yet, thinking that I actually could. So it's I don't know if if Major League Baseball doesn't work out, then maybe I'll play the trumpet or sing, or you know what I mean. You're 14, like you're not thinking if I can achieve the same income as you, mom and dad, doing what I feel as if I'm
Well,
born to do, like that's insane. I mean that speaks a lot to him, and he's obviously proven what he is and how incredible he is.
Yeah. It
Um,
is a bit ironic coming from him, but the insight was not lost on me when he said it.
yeah.
totally.
So you farted on Jessica Simpson. Now I bring this up because this was a big joke of Josh's early on, but a true story, correct?
It is a true story. Yeah.
Now my question is, like when I think of Cincinnati, I think of, something I strive for here in Detroit is to kind of be like how you are in Cincinnati. You're kind of like one of the kings of Cincinnati. Like you're connected, you know everybody, you're always like messing around with the Reds or doing this and that with the Bengals, and you're just the Cincy guy. And when I think about it, there's another guy who is also a Cincy guy. Now, since Netflix has come along and they needed a host for reality shows, I'm sure he's not around as much. But Nick Lachey is the other guy I think of. And then you've got that connected tissue there with Jessica Simpson. Now, that story, what I want to know is, has he heard that joke? Does he know that story? And is my assumption, because we've met Nick Lachey a few times, and he's just like us. He's just a bro. Like he's just a dude, like a regular guy.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
he does all the Hollywood things, but he is a bro to his core. So when I think happened when he heard the story was he was like, dude, up top, me too. Like I also did that. You know what I mean? Like how has that happened? What was that like?
So it's funny because I remember when I told him about it, we were at an event for the Reds. They do this charity poker event every year as part of Reds Fest. And we were both playing as celebrities and we were backstage waiting to be introduced to the room. And I had already recorded the special, but it wasn't out yet. And I had only met him like once or twice. And he said, and so I told him, I go, hey, there's a special that's coming out and it's got this story in it. And I tell him the story, and there's a bunch of people standing around. And he goes, she had it coming. That's all he said. She had it coming. And everybody laughed, and it wasn't awkward that I thought it might be, because I definitely didn't want to meet him after he had heard it from someone else. And so he and I have become friends, and I wrote this parody song of Dust in the Wind called Dusty Please Win when Dusty Baker became the manager of the Reds. And I asked him what he thought of it, and he offered to sing with me. So we recorded a song together,
What?
which is a terrible idea for me, but it was still fun to do. And I wrote jokes for him in a roast, and we've become friends, and it's kind of surreal. But the other story that I like more about that is I now know that she's heard it
Oh, really?
because, yeah, I was in Dallas, Texas, and a lot of times the comedy club will send a car to come get you at the airport. And this guy, he like I've just never experienced this, but as soon as I'm like, hey, that's me, He's, oh my gosh, I couldn't wait to meet you, and I'm like, this does not happen. And he goes, I love your stand up, and I love the Jessica Simpson story. And one day I was assigned to pick her up from the airport, and it was like he was like it was a full limo, and I had the track before playing when she got in the car. And I'm just like driving, knowing that it's coming, and I keep looking in the rearview mirror. And then as soon as you said I farted on Jessica Simpson, she just looks out the window and then just puts the divider up
The
between the
partition,
front
yeah.
seat and the back. I know for a fact that she's heard it, and that made my whole day. And then another time, it's so funny. This story that I thought was so dumb has so many different parts to it. But another time, my website crashed, and I couldn't figure out what was going on. So I call the guy who like handles it for me, and I go, what's going on? He goes, it looks like there was, too much traffic or whatever. And I go, from what? And he said, from Google. And he looks it up, and basically people were searching Jessica Simpson farted. And mine was the top result. And I was like, but why now? Come to find out, TMZ, when TMZ was like crazy popular, they had put out a story that she was in a meeting at Macy's and everybody that's important is at the big table and she's just kind of sitting off to the side in the room and she tries to let one slip and it made a sound. And because she was off by herself, everyone knew that it was her. And someone reported to TMZ that Jessica Simpson had farted in this meeting at Macy's.
Awesome.
And people were just like, I want to hear the story. So they just Google Jessica Simpson farted. And I was already the top
And you were
search
there.
result.
That's
It's
So
amazing. You just randomly get a residual check for 10 million. You're like, what happened here?
fantastic.
Hey, Jess, if you could just
Oh
keep
my
farting in
gosh.
public, that'd be great.
Need to hear this full story. Where can I hear it?
It's on my album called Unacceptable. It's also on my Comedy Central half hour special,
Okay.
Comedy Central Presents.
Okay.
But that album of the Unacceptable album, like the whole cover of the album is like just my face, right? It's like me leaned into it with this face that is supposed to be someone farted. That's kind of because that's where the album title comes from. Is I'd say that the fart on the airplane was so bad it was unacceptable. And I'm at a Star Wars event in Anaheim. I mean, there's 45,000 people at this thing, and I'm just walking around, and this guy taps me on the shoulder, and I go, "Yeah," and he goes, "Did you fart on Jessica Simpson?" And I was like, I started laughing. I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "I knew that was
Hilarious.
you." I just listened to comedy on my computer at work all day, and whenever it plays a track, it has like the album cover, like on Spotify or whatever. And I have seen your face on my computer like all day so many times that as soon as I saw you, I knew that was you. But I was like, of all the ways for someone to ask if I'm who they think they are, they asked if I farted
Wow.
on Jessica Simpson.
Can I pitch you something?
Sure.
Okay. A lot of comics to do like a little video intro before their special. And it's usually them like coming from the green room, walking to the stage. So it can't just a simple like 20-second, 15-second video. For your next special, I don't know how you make this happen, but it would be amazing. You kind of do the same thing. You're in the green room preparing, and stage manager comes, Josh, they're ready for you, and you're like, all right, and you got the music playing, and you can hear the audience. They're piping in the audience sound over the video, and you're walking through the tunnels of the backstage, and Jessica Simpson pops out in front of you, lets one rip, gets you back, and then leaves, and then you're just like, oh, come on, man, and then you make your way to the stage.
I mean, that would be you're right. Logistically, I don't know how that happens, but that would be fantastic.
I mean, there's got to be a Jessica Simpson lookalike, right? Or AI.
AI, yeah,
But
AI
if
could work.
I feel like she's got a good sense of humor based on having no real knowledge of her at all. I think she'd be down,
Well,
especially
I
after
don't know
the
if she does or not.
Macy's thing.
That story had happened and I had never done it on stage. And then I was in Shreveport, Louisiana, working at a comedy club down there. And after the show one night, there was this big group still hanging out in the bar, and I came out and I got to talking to them, and they worked on film sets because there's so many movies that get
Mhm.
filmed down there. And they were working on, I want to say it might have been Dukes of Hazzard. And I go, oh my gosh, because I knew she was in that. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I tell them this story, and they go, why don't you tell that on stage? And I go, I try to give people the benefit of the doubt that if I have one interaction with them and it doesn't go well, that they could have been having a bad day, whatever. And they go, oh no, she acts like that to every person every day. You have to do that. So I started telling it on stage, and then now here we are 15 years later still talking about it.
That's your 12 days, man. You just
Yeah,
can't
right.
can't escape it.
Right, I'm sure you never thought it was going to go on for this long. It's
No,
funny.
but Tyler, you do need to go watch it because I don't want I tell people if the story even gets brought up, I say I have to tell it because I don't want people thinking I just go around crop dusting celebrities like she
Right.
earned it. So
Okay.
if you go watch it,
I
you'll
will.
know why I did it.
I definitely will. Okay.
You know what's sad though? There's some kid on TikTok that probably makes $6 million a month who just crop dusts celebrities. Like he videos it, and that's his post every week. Like the influencers and all these creators are, like the guy who just walks up to people in nice cars. Hey, what do you do for a living? Or walks up to their front doors. What do you do for a living? I want him to show the outtakes of all the people that are very
That are
not
like,
happy with you in my
yeah.
face. Get out of
I
here,
know.
bro. I'm at home. Leave me alone.
Is that a threat to you guys at all? The influencer industry?
No, I think it could only help us, honestly, because, you know, I'll say this. There's always people in every kind of industry that it's, oh, that guy should be way more famous than he is, right? For music, for me, I say Mark Broussard. That dude should be a household name because his voice is insane.
So good.
Like everyone should know your comedy, and I selfishly think everyone should know who we are. Like
They absolutely should.
I'll put our show up against anybody's, like in terms of you leaving being like, oh man, I had a really great time. So we are still very much unknown. Like we are not a household name. The majority of the people in this country do not know who we are. And what we're seeing now is our social media starting to grow a little bit. Once they come across us, they're like, oh, yes, this is great. I love this. Now I'm going to follow them, and hopefully they become, chasers and come out to shows. So I think it can only help us at this point, unless one of us does something really dumb and then that person highlights it in a video or something. And then that kind of derails the whole thing. But I think for us, it only introduce us to a larger audience.
Yeah, good for you guys then.
Yeah, we're
No,
all
I'm
about
kidding.
it. Yeah, we're all about it.
It's something I go back and forth with because it does feel like it is necessary in comedy to grow your following by putting out clips all the time, but I don't want to do crowd work because I feel like that encourages the audience to think they're supposed to participate, which I don't want. I like to do my act, you know. And then you also don't want to burn through new material when you're trying to work up to an hour special. So I'm trying to find that balance now, but I see the people who do it on a regular basis and the fruits of that labor, you know, they're selling out comedy clubs, you know, two shows on a Tuesday just because they have a huge social media following. Now, whether they can do a full hour that's watchable or not is a different story. But yeah, I was just curious how it impacted you because I see what it's doing to comedy.
So I'll ask this since you brought up the crowd work thing. We get hecklers at our shows, and
Really?
not necessarily like hecklers, but the lady who might have had an extra white claw or the dude who had an extra, high noon or something. And they feel like it's just them and us in the room. So they feel like they're conversing directly with us and we are only conversing with them. So if any of us are up there doing an intro and we're talking, they're responding in real time as if it's a me and you conversation. Now, a lot of times we just ignore it, right? Because we don't want to encourage it. And also, a lot of times, nothing really good will come from addressing it. But I was just wondering, comedians all have like several stock responses ready to fire back at the go. So I was going to put you on the spot, see if you could arm us with a couple that are maybe a de escalating comment or a de arming comment or something like that. So if we're up there, we're like, yeah, so I was doing this thing, and the lady's, oh, I love when you guys do things. It's okay. Now, what's a good way to basically tell that person to be quiet without saying, hey, shut up?
In a theater, it's way harder. Who knows where she's sitting? You know, you don't really have bouncers, you know, or security door guys to come handle that for you like I do. My method is usually not, unless it's something super obvious, is to not respond on the first thing. And if you get into a back and forth, they at some point they will set themselves up where you just hammer it, right?
Yeah.
But having a back and forth conversation where you're constantly trying to be funnier, if you're not, then it makes you look bad. But I've found that they will generally open up for something where you can just, hit them with the big one. The problem is that back in the day, like heckler had a different connotation. It was, I think I'm funnier or smarter or wittier than the comic. And if the comic proved to be the superior, the person would be like, all right, I'll be quiet now. What you're talking about when it's alcohol fueled, it doesn't matter how dumb you make them look, they're going to keep at it unless they finally have to leave. So,
Just
you know,
ignore it.
yeah, I typically will ignore it until I have to address it, then I will. And usually, I mean, you got 1,000 people on your side. You know what I mean? They all want her to be quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially your husband,
Yeah.
who doesn't even want to be there to begin
doesn't
with.
even-
Like, now deal with this.
That's what you say, right? You
Yeah.
go,
Mortified.
the person who's happy about this is your husband who's getting kicked out of a show he didn't want to be at anyway.
Yeah, he's good. Now he can catch the second half.
Yeah.
That's amazing. All right, Josh, where can people find you? I know joshsneed.com for tickets and touring info. You're going to a lot of cities that we hit. You're going to Des Moines, you're going to Louisville, you'll be in Myrtle Beach, you'll be in California, Delray Beach, Lexington, Kentucky, Atlanta, it's a big chaser hub, Cleveland,
Mhm.
another big chaser hub, Liberty Township, that's over by you, I think.
Cincinnati, yeah, New Year's Eve.
And then Tampa, Oklahoma City, Tulsa in March, Tyler. Make sure you're there.
Oh,
I'm
sweet.
coming to OKC. I told him.
Tacoma
No,
and Spokane.
where you're coming to Tulsa, the Bricktown Club?
Yeah,
Cool.
Ooh, there's no Nashville though.
Do you, I mean, this
I'm
might be a dumb
trying,
question.
dude.
Do you fly all your dates?
usually.
Usually, yeah.
Yeah.
Does that get annoying?
No, I love it. I would
Dude,
fly to
really?
the grocery if it was cheap enough. Yeah.
Taylor
It's
Swift
like,
style.
I mean, I'm by myself. I know how to navigate. Like,
Sure.
my wife hates it. We go on vacation and she wants to be there 3.5 hours early. I'm like, I've got it timed out where I'm going through pre-check and
Yeah.
I'm getting up to the terminal right as we're boarding, or if I
Yeah.
want to, stop by the Delta Lounge or something to grab a bite. I have it. I know how to navigate all of it, and
Yeah.
Totally can relate.
just I've spent so many years in the car, dude. I mean, 2002, which was my first full-time year on the road of doing stand-up, I did 50 out of 52 weeks that year. And it
Wow.
was just like there would be months at a time where I didn't come home even for one day. Obviously wasn't married or had children, so I actually cared about routing. But when you fly, that's how you can do Tacoma one day and Tampa the next. It's I lean into it. It's also just me. It's
Yeah,
not
easier to travel that way.
9 of me and sound equipment and everything else. It's like I just show up. So I love flying, but I'm trying to work on Nashville, Mike. It's
Yep.
Hit up
it's a
Steve.
tough nut to crack right now.
Doesn't Steve have a standing show at Zany's over there? Steve Byrne?
I don't know if he has this. I know he does his podcast out of there. Nate Bargatze has kind of taken over that whole, he's got the whole Nate Land thing, and it's a real. I mean, a lot of guys move there. Theo Vaughn moved there.
Oh,
Like
yeah? Okay.
there's no shortage of comedians in Nashville, and it makes it harder to be from out
Yeah.
of town and not a big name to get one of those spots. But I'm trying. I'm always trying to get there because I love that
Oh, yeah.
club and I love that city. I will keep trying, and I promise I'll let you know if it happens. But yeah, the
I will be there if you
joshsneed.com.
do.
What's that?
I was just gonna say that when you do come, I will be there. So,
Oh, that'd be fantastic.
oh, yeah.
You guys have been so. Tyler, did you come in Des Moines one time when I was there before you moved?
I
Or
don't think I did. I know that you were there a bunch, but I don't think I've ever come to see your show. So I need to come in March in Tulsa for sure.
yeah, that would be fantastic. I'm looking forward to that. I haven't been to that city in so long. But joshsneed.com, the Josh Sneed on the socials, and then the new special. I actually secured fatryan.com. So if you go to fatryan.com,
Nice.
it'll take you straight to Amazon.
What's the story behind the name Fat Ryan?
You got to watch the special. I'll tell
Oh,
you
that's
guys.
right.
I'll tell you. I'll remind you after but I don't want to spoil it for anyone listening. Go watch the special. It's all amazing. If you like Gaffigan, if you like Regan, if you like Nate Bargatze, this is right up your alley. It's, it's all in the same kind of world. It's,
Thank you.
but even more, I don't want to say more so Midwestern, but more so relatable to, your average Joe.
We're
And
all
it's-
the same age. We're all, like you said, Midwestern dudes. Like, I think that's what drew me to you guys, not just your talent, but I think that's why I was so happy to become friends with you guys, is because I feel like when we hang out, like we're all going through the same thing at any given moment. And it's never, oh my gosh, I haven't seen you forever. It's you, especially Segi, because I talk to him so often, but it's just, I don't know, you guys are so relatable. And man, it's fun to watch you guys on, keep grinding, man, because you guys you're special. I've known it before I knew you guys personally. And thank you for having me on your show. It means a lot.
Yeah, dude, appreciate it. Hopefully you see some clicks from this. Chasers, your directive this week is to go watch Josh's special,
That's
Fat
right.
Ryan. It's on Amazon Prime Video. You can also access it by just going to his website, joshsneed.com. I'm also selling pirated versions for $8. So if you want to
Ooh.
save the two, times is tough, man. Times is tough. I'm in a band of 9 dudes, so I'm just kidding. But dude, Josh, thank you so much for joining us today. Yeah, man, it's always good to talk to you and chat comedy. And it's funny how similar and different our worlds are at the same time, stand up and music. I feel like there's a common saying that like all rock stars, wish they could be comedians and all comedians wish they could be rock stars,
Yep,
um,
that's true.
without all realizing they're all kind of the same, right?
Yeah.
So not to say we're rock stars or comedians, but for you and like other famous people. But yeah, dude, thank you for coming out today and joining us from what I assume is thousands and thousands of dollars of memorabilia behind you.
Looks like a lot. It looks pretty cool.
Yeah,
I
it's
think it's sweet.
impressive. It's impressive. I don't know if
There's
you broke
there's
into a
fun
King U
stuff back
Toys or
there.
what.
Got Vader back there.
Yeah, that's my dad worked for Kenner Toys, so
Oh,
Star
cool.
Wars is a big thing for us, and those are paintings that were done for him, and then all kinds of toys, bobbleheads. We need a straight no chaser
Yeah.
bobblehead set or a Funko set or something like that where people can collect all of them. And
That'd
then
be
you
cool.
could have like chasers of the chasers where it's like variations of each one. Maybe
Sick.
former band members that are exclusive to their other parts of town. People would go crazy for that. I'll display all
Yeah.
of them right in here.
There you
I'll
go.
have the whole SNC
All right, we have
collection back
one
there.
set sold. We got it. All right, Josh. Thank you, brother.
All right, boys.
JoshSneed.com. All Josh Sneed on all the socials. Go see him live. You won't regret it. If you go see a show and you don't like it, I'll give you your money back.
Yeah, Segi will.
Yep. It's in the
All right.
mail.
See you, Josh.
Thanks,
Thanks for
boys.
joining us
See
today,
you,
man.
Josh.
Yep.
Thanks.
Thanks,
See you
bro.
guys.
Okay. All right. That was good stuff. It was nice to have him on. Yeah. So I think that's going to do it here for the latest episode of the Unofficial Official Podcast. You guys have anything you want to say as we sign off here?
Nope, that was fun. Thanks again to Josh.
Yeah. If you have any questions for Unofficial Official Pod, email us at unofficialofficialpod@gmail.com. Is that the email address?
Yeah, it's close enough.
I think it is. Follow us on the socials. Follow SNC on the socials. Fall tour is coming up quick. Make sure you grab your tickets, sncmusic.com. We got a lot of fun things planned for this fall. Got a lot of new music. Got a new video, new wardrobe. It's going to be a lot of fun. We may have some guests in some cities. We're trying to make it as amazing as possible and make sure that you are getting every bit of value out of every penny you spend on a ticket to come see us. So sncmusic.com for all that info. And yeah, thank you.
All right. For Mike, Segi, and Tyler, this has been episode number 37 of the Unofficial Official Podcast. We will see you next time. Thanks for listening.
See ya.